Everyone all right? Thumbs up if everyone can hear me okay and everyone's okay to start. Thank you so much for Nomad for, taking the initiative to do something like this, and the Federal Youth Authority for organizing. It's been a pleasure to moderate for you guys today. The topic for today, it's creating a sustainable environment for the UAE films. So that's the theme today, guys. And we've got some amazing speakers with us as well. They're speakers, they're kind of fly on the wall experts, but they're also here to help add value.
So I think resources is a challenge here. We don't have the kind of grants and we don't have the kind of things that you might find in your home country, Timothy. Like in the UK, you have the film lotteries and you have so many of these things that can kind of really help. You can pitch projects to and they kind of select a few. So all of that doesn't exist here. So again, for me, since I shoot a lot of horrors and thrillers and stuff like that, these like having few resources, few actors and few locations sort of works in my favor in a way. Like I made it work in my favor. Obviously it doesn't work if you want to shoot an action film. But yeah, I think it's definitely, I think now that resources are becoming more democratized in a way, like you can shoot on your phone if you want to. So it's less of an issue now, but especially when I started off earlier on, just the lack of even a pool of acting talent here was much smaller. It's getting a little bit better now, and just resources and like finding gear and stuff like that, and getting to people and like having them collaborate, because it's such a commercial driven industry here that you're doing it all from your own resources. It's hard to kind of, it's if you're in a different country where film is a bigger a thing, then they have the understanding of what that is.
About the storytelling, the problem is there is no platform to show your work, to show your ideas, and to get the directors or production companies to check that, and maybe they are interested to do it.
So a couple of years back, we've had a couple of film festivals: Gulf Film Festival, Dubai Film Festival, Abu Dhabi Film Festival. And after we've seen that film festivals have died out in terms of organization, and film festivals were kind of like, I wouldn't say like a breeding ground, but a social ground for filmmakers to come together. And that was what we have seen from, like the dynamics, the offline dynamics. When that died out, a lot of filmmakers kept to their own spaces. So when film festivals die out, what can filmmakers do in terms of getting attention? Because these were centralized places. These were, there were government support. There were bigger institutions supporting it. You could see a lot of people that you are able to network with and to know and to get to know from these spaces. So if there aren't any, where will filmmakers, where will they be motivated to make such films at a mass, if we're talking about volume?
I need festivals to present that movies, to work on that, but we lost that since 3 years, and we don't have any platform that's showing our let's say art movies more than commercial movies. And I think that we will lose the art. Maybe documentary movies as well, there does not have any chance to show the documentary unless it is entertainment. It is something I don't know, not part of art, maybe part of something else that will entertain people.
We have yet to develop a fully fledged industry. Worldwide, we have seen production companies, international film festivals get discontinued. And that tells you one thing. It tells you that even if you have the money, it doesn't mean you have the experience. You can start a production company, you can start an international film festival. It doesn't mean anything. Your money will run out if you don't know, if you're not business minded, if you don't have the experience, if you don't. So instead of us thinking that the industry is a production company or a film festival, we have to remember that we are the film industry. Us right now, we're the film industry. A film industry is made by films. Films are made by filmmakers. So for us to reach that level where you can live as a scriptwriter or a film director or a cinematographer for movies, narrative films, not commercials, there's still a while to go for that. We still have to develop it, but that's the beauty of the industry here. It's so international that It has yet to form its own unique signature, as well as to develop the industry, which is why we're having talks like this.
When you're making short films, I don't think there is a viable way to monetize short films, right? Like it's you make them as sort of a calling card, you make them as a way to learn. If your film kind of becomes a part of a film festival and there's a cash prize, you might win something, and that's the only sort of way to make any revenue off a film. But other than that, it's just a way to sort of develop your skills, and hopefully a feature film is where again you can make money. But again, as Mustafa said, that industry isn't quite there yet.
You're supposed to make a short film just to kind of display to an industry or a festival or festivals that this is what I can do. That's, in my opinion, that's the point of a short film. And yes, like what Faisal said, you don't make a short film to make money. It's not a commercial, it's a narrative. You're making it to display your talent, your creativity, your technique, your unique signature or filmmaking. Focus on the story before anything else, okay? And if it's going to be your first film, try to limit the locations. Try to, broaden and widen the creativity. It's very important. Another myth in the film world is that the most important thing is the ending. And as important as the ending is, I think focus on your middle. Look, there's like a lot of rules to writing a script. It's important that you find your own rules, but at the same time, there are some that I really believe in. For example, you need the 3-act structure. Act 1 is minute 1 to 20. Minute 20 to 70 is the second act, which is your middle. So make sure your characters change. It's very important. Yeah, show people the change. It's very, very important. And remember, creativity and technicality are not the same.
Focus on one thing for each stage. So don't do everything at the same time. So if you want to be a storyteller, visually, so you'll focus on cinematography and directing more. If you want to write stories, so you'll focus on script writing. So you cannot do it at the same time. And you have to have something that very, very near to you, very you. If you want to be a script writer, focus on that.
If you want to do something, just spread the word. Just say that you want to do this. You have this great idea. And even if you're spreading the word to the people, which this is how I actually got into acting, they have nothing to do with the filmmaking. But you'll never know that they might know someone else who's actually related into the film industry.
It's not just about your own style as a filmmaker or an artist of any kind. It's also about your journey, right? That has to be unique. There is no one formula to this thing. And it's something Faisal said earlier about limitations. I agree 100%. When you have these limitations, you are pressed and the creativity comes out of you. It oozes out of you and you find a way to make it happen.
It's the kind of stuff that a lot of filmmakers don't like to do because we are sort of like more internal, introverted kind of creatures. But I would love to not do that, and I would love to have a department sort of do that for me. But I know we don't have that luxury. So you have to be your own producer, your own marketing team, your own publicity team if you want your work to be seen. So I think definitely the platforms in terms of YouTube and Vimeo, you have these kind of 2 video sharing platforms available to you. They have a wide audience.
Everything that Faisal just said, can I please emphasize on that? Because you have to be your biggest advocate. And I would actually encourage you to not just send your film and links to your work to people in the film industry, but outside of it, because kind of like what everyone else said, like you don't know how people connect. And again, it can resonate with, and you also don't know what kind of what people also are interested in watching, right? It could resonate with someone you might not even think about. So sending that link out and being proactive and just kind of being your biggest advocate. This is specific to content acquisition. So in the US and especially on that side of the world, they are looking at the Middle East and in the MENA region for content because they understand that there has been a lack of content on their platforms. So use Twitter to connect with people who are in content acquisition roles or diversity roles because they're looking to diversify their content. And reach out to them because they're actively looking for these, for new, essentially projects to fund. And they do have budgets right now because there's been a huge push, especially over the last couple of months.
I think getting the very, very basic gear with a focus on sound, like I think like cinematography wise, I think people are much more forgiving about what a film looks like, but if the sound is bad, like it's just not, like people immediately catch that and they just don't, like just stop engaging with the material.
If you have an idea, you have to protect it by yourself.
Kind of like what Abdullah just said, which is don't give them the secret sauce of what would make it, you know, come to life, right? Give them like a taste of it, not the whole thing. Essentially, that's one. If you're going to be sending things, you can use something like DocuSend, where you have to add an email in order to be able to access a document. And that's just so anytime that they access it or they're opening it a few times, they'll get an idea of, okay, they're looking at it, right?
What I do is every screenplay I write, I register it at WGA.org. That's what I do. I don't know if it protects me. I do it anyway because it's a standard. If you want to really protect an idea you have, make a client, make an investor, make a production company, sign some form of NDA, like you said, Timothy.
To help out if anybody has a screenplay and you want me to sort of give you my thoughts on it and stuff like that, I'm always available. I've been helping people out on that. You know, I truly believe in like sort of sending the ladder back down when you're going back, and just reach out. If you're somebody who does something, reach out to me, and maybe we might work on something together. Everybody collectively rises when the industry rises, and when somebody makes good work, it just kind of highlights the whole country and the whole region.
The community, that's one thing that we don't have, and it's really worth discussing and building. That is something to highly consider, and this gives access to opportunities and, you know, even networking opportunities. So I think that's one of the most crucial things that we could do, really.
It would be great to have like one place where I can find all the work that's been made in the UAE, because it has so many diverse like nationalities and everything, but they're not necessarily in contact. And I think one way to sort of like build on this national identity through film is to just have, like, if not a physical, like an online platform that showcases all the different work. And through the different individual experiences of different filmmakers from different places, we can sort of like construct sort of like a broad overview of the UAE film industry. So I think that having a platform specifically for the UAE is very important.
I'm just going to summarize kind of some of the solutions. So one of the things we really like kind of went on was that we need to build more experience, I think, you know, amongst us, and like help share each other's work. We need to have a showcase platform. Just to let you know, Nomad is actually building a platform to support content creation and to showcase them, which is going to be really exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys do. You know, I think the more kind of formats like this, the more likely we are together to grow and create something together, and create something that maybe can give us all these like solutions that we're talking about right now. And obviously this is going to help us monetize everything as well. So I think, you know, the community, I think, is probably the biggest thing, the biggest answer here that I think we're lacking. So more networking, more of these formats, and I'm really excited to see what Nomad create down the line. So just want to also thank you, Nomad, and the Federal Youth Authority. It's, you know, it's amazing to see you all here, and, you know, if you have any other questions, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. So.